PRC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is James Spann. This is the afternoon Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 19th day of August, and the focus remains on Faye this afternoon. What about the impact on Alabama? Well, let's talk about it. Lots to discuss. The Skycam images first off. Things are quiet today across our state. There's a nice shot of the Birmingham skyline coming from the Daniel Building on 20th Street, looking north. The sky mostly sunny. Down in Demopolis, we're looking south right down the Tom Bigby River from the Skycam on the Demopolis Civic Center. Always a beautiful view there, and looks like those cumulus clouds are building pretty nicely. And somebody somewhere will probably see a shower this afternoon, especially south of Demopolis. And a peek at the Gulf of Mexico coming from the Skycam on top of the Phoenix All Suites down in Gulf Shores. We wonder if the scene will be that tranquil early next week. A lot of wonders going on here. With Faye, there's a look at the water vapor satellite shot this afternoon. And again, we are in between systems. We have Faye to the southeast, the big upper level low to the west. Upper level low near Childress, Texas, producing rain over eastern Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. And of course, Faye, you know what's happening down there. There's a closer look at Faye. Looks like the center is right over the western shoreline of Lake Okeechobee. And, you know, that's a swampy area there, and the traditionally tropical systems do not weaken very much as they traverse that part of Florida. In fact, the sustained winds are still 65 miles per hour. This thing is just as strong as it was when it came inland about 4 o'clock this morning. And it's moving northeast out toward the Atlantic. There's the radar presentation, and again, you can see that little eye spot there just on the western shore of the big lake. And it sure looks like that will be emerging into the Atlantic. And so many questions, and we just don't have all the answers. The big question in the near term is how much will it strengthen once it gets off into the Atlantic? And will it be a hurricane at the time of the second landfall in Florida? And will there be a second landfall? Well, now that's enough to make your head spin right there, isn't it? You wonder why we always have headache pills in our pocket. Well, that's why. That's the spaghetti plot of all the models, and most all of them are now in pretty good agreement, actually, as crazy as that looks. They move it into the Atlantic around Cape Canaveral, bend it back toward Jacksonville or Daytona, and then most of the models track that thing down Interstate 10 from Jacksonville down toward Tallahassee and then curve it up into Alabama. But we've got a few that hint it might get into the Gulf of Mexico. Can it happen? Sure. You know, after watching this thing for so many days, you'd believe anything. There's the official track. From the Hurricane Center, they kind of smooth all of that out, and they run it from near Jacksonville as a tropical storm into southwest Georgia around Bainbridge, and then into southeast Alabama around Enterprise and Andalusia. With that final position there is a tropical depression down in South Alabama Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. And, of course, if that's right, we'll certainly have to ramp up the chance of rain Sunday and Monday. But there's no guarantee that's right. Remember, just a few days ago, that track had the thing going up toward Pennsylvania or Ohio or West Virginia. Real quick, there's a look at 94L. Not looking all that organized on the satellite shot this afternoon. That's off in the central Atlantic, and modeling not changing all that much. The models want to bring that to a point north of Puerto Rico, and much like Faye, it will have a lot of options there. And we'll worry about that one later. We're just going to take these big things one at a time. So what's a GFS doing with it? Well, let's see. This is where we are at 1 o'clock tomorrow. This is aloft about 18,000 feet off the ground, or the 500 millibar level. And you can see our trough in the northeast beginning to move out, being replaced by a blocking ridge that'll turn this thing back to the west. And there's the surface chart. This thing at 1 o'clock tomorrow has it on the South Atlantic coast near West Palm Beach. Thursday, it just sits there, really, just off the coastline near Cape Canaveral. Now, remember, the worst of the weather is going to be east of the circulation center. Hopefully, this will prevent a major flooding issue over the Florida Peninsula. But having said that, there'll be a lot of rain down there, no doubt about that. Now, Friday, the GFS begins that turn back to the southwest. It hangs a left, and it comes back over to Tampa Bay Friday. And then well, look at the NAM just for the fun of it. Now, this is the NAM at the exact same time, valid 1 o'clock Friday afternoon. The NAM, instead of having the thing at Tampa Bay, it's got it over Bainbridge, Georgia, with very heavy rain over South Georgia at that point. So, again, you can see the model discrepancy here. Saturday, back to the GFS. It moves out into the Gulf, the northeastern Gulf, and by golly, that water's warm. There could be some intensification if this is right. Sunday, it's due south to Panama City. Monday, it begins to pull north up toward Fort Walton Beach and Panama City. And then Tuesday, it moves northeast up into South Georgia. And if this is right, it'll keep Alabama on the dry side. So, understand Alabama getting a big rain event here. It's not a total lock. You know that. I mean, we've said that over and over. When a tropical system is involved, anything goes here. But let's look at another model, the European. What do you say? This is Friday evening. The European has the thing near Apalachicola. Saturday evening, it moves it over to the Gulf of Mexico, due south of Gulf Shores. Goodness gracious. Sunday, are you kidding me? It's got the thing over Jackson, Mississippi. And if this is right, this would really wet Alabama down. We'd be on the wet side of this thing by a wide margin. And then Tuesday, it moves it up to Memphis, right up Interstate 55. Model madness. You know the deal here. We'll go back to the GFS. There's Wednesday of next week. It pulls it off to the northeast. So we'll see. We're going to just kind of go with some persistence here and probably highlight a good chance of rain on Sunday and Monday, and we'll fine-tune that as we go. Quickly, at the end of the cycle, the 4th of September. Wow, September. I like that. Upper air high over the southwest. That's where the hottest weather would be if this is correct. And again, that suggests the weather fairly tame. But obviously, if we're struggling with weather 3 or 4 days in advance, we're not going to try and dive into weather 16 days in advance. That's it for the Weather Extreme video today. We'll have notes on our blog. That's alabamawx.com if you're watching this on iTunes or YouTube. And we'll have the next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And don't forget to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless.